I know you know the importance of having accountability on this journey, but as a mom, especially of littles, like little ones under the age of 3, 4, before they get into school, it can be really hard to find those people to lean into because we are in the trenches, right? And motherhood can just be flat out isolating. So accountability feels like this thing that we might just have to sacrifice for this season, but there is a way to find accountability that you can lean on. And there are a few places I'm going to share in this episode today I bet you didn't think of. So time to find out what they are. Hey mama, welcome to the Tough Love Mom Podcast. I know you're here because you're ready to get consistent and finally lose that weight, and you're not afraid of a little tough love. You know what to do to lose weight, but following through on those things feels impossible. You wish you could just feel like your strong, confident self again and want to be a good example for your little ones, but you get thrown off by mom guilt and the unpredictability of motherhood. It's frustrating. Taking on your journey postpartum is hard, but it's not impossible. Hey, I'm Liz, and I've been where you are. I gained a lot of weight in my pregnancies. 90 pounds and then 60 pounds. I needed to lose that weight to take control of my health and honestly just wanted to feel like myself again. With a sustainable approach to weight loss, simple consistency, and working on my mindset, I lost it all in just over a year both times. And I'm here to help you do the same. I believe that we have an ingrained ability to figure out what we need to do, make it happen, and do it in a way that awes the world. If you're ready to stop falling off the wagon, create solid routine and healthy habits, and finally feel your best inside and out, all while enjoying dino nuggets on your salad, you are in the right place. We're about to transform your journey, my friend. Get pumped up. It is tough love time. I brought up the word isolation in the introduction because that word perfectly describes how I felt, especially after Cal was born, my second, for various reasons that I kind of go over in the first episode, to be honest, where I tell my story and my background. I was left with a lot of loneliness after his birth, and I carried that with me for a good while afterwards. It even affected me in my journey in certain ways, not necessarily in my consistency, and not to the extent that it might affect other moms. I was still really consistent, but it sure did not make things easy. Like mentally, that feeling of isolation, that feeling of I don't have the people around me to lean on, like I feel like I should, like it just doesn't seem as accessible in that season. I don't know if you're catching my drift. It just doesn't seem as accessible. So I leaned on some unexpected places. I leaned into those to find accountability, not necessarily to stay consistent because I had that down. It was just a habit of mine, but simply for the enjoyment of the process. Because I think there's two things you get out of accountability. You get that community and that feel of I'm going to follow through because I'm showing up for and with other people, but you also get this level of enjoyment that just isn't as accessible when you're going it alone and you feel more isolated. So why accountability is important, other than the things you get out of it, is simply because it keeps you following through when you don't feel like it. And we all know that is the hardest point to be at when you really don't feel like doing something. When you have that feeling of isolation, when you don't have that accountability, it is so easy to give into that feeling. So much easier. The American Society of Training and Development did a study on accountability and found that you have a 65% better chance of completing a goal if you commit to someone. Basically, if you verbally tell them, hey, I'm doing this, hold me to it, your chance is more than 50% greater, 65% greater of finishing that, following through. The study also went on to get a little more specific with accountability, and they found that if you have a specific accountability appointment with a person that you've committed to, so like a personal trainer in a workout, or a workout buddy that you're going to a gym class with, or going on a walk with, or a run with, or you're like doing some sort of healthy eating or water challenge with someone else, like anyone catching the feel of the consistency challenge here. But if you have a specific appointment for accountability with another person, you increase your chance of success by up to 95%. That means you're almost guaranteed to follow through even if you don't feel like it. So typical places that you think of accountability coming from, I kind of brought them up already: a personal trainer, a coach, a workout buddy, and those are all amazing. This episode is not to discount the value of having those types of people in your life, having someone in that role. But I have 3 places you can seek out accountability for you that you might not have thought of, that you have like right there, that you have all the time access to. So let's talk about them. The first is your husband. Hopefully, in general, your biggest supporter, right? Like, hopefully he's the one cheering you on the most, saying, I know you can do that. Like, why haven't you done it yet, right? Mine does that a lot for me, where he can see something for my life or what I'm capable before I even do. So hopefully he's your biggest cheerleader. So share with him what it is that you want to be doing. Like, whatever it is you need accountability with, share that with your husband, okay? And if you've heard any of my conversations with Casey, I think I need to label those episodes Convos with Casey. But if you've heard any of those, you know it's not just telling him what you want to do, but why you want to be doing that, what it's going to do for you, why you want this for your family, why you want to better yourself. So again, your husband is that first place of accountability that I want you to turn to, because he's right there. The next is one you might not have thought of, but it is very impactful, and it's your social media account. Now, if this isn't one of my favorites because of the now I have to factor of sharing on social media and getting the accountability from there, I honestly don't know what it is about telling those more distant friends or acquaintances versus telling those that you care about the most. You just don't want to let them down. I think there's something about, okay, I've told a stranger, I've told this person who is, it's almost easier for us to let down the people that are closest to us. And so when we put that word out there, when we put our word out there, what we're committing to people that we're not as close with, it's almost like it creates this, and I don't understand psychologically why this is the thing, but when we put it out there to people we're not as close with, it's almost like we have this greater burden on our shoulders to follow through on our word. And it's as simple as like posting to your stories or to your feed, I'm doing XYZ, and then just share that you're following through daily. It really is impactful. People will notice. It's great if they get inspired by it. But again, it's for your accountability, and it is a great place to tap into that. Again, the consistency challenge is literally this. This is why I do it, because you can share it for your own accountability on your Instagram. It's awesome. So that second place that you can find accountability you might not have thought of is your social media account. And no, you don't have to be some like influencer or have a big following to do it. Literally, it's just, again, distant friends, close friends, family, acquaintances that are seeing that stuff. So use it for accountability. The third and final place that you might not have thought of that is an amazing form of accountability is your children, especially if they're toddlers. I've got an almost 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And if you've got any kids around that age, you know, if you say you're going to do something, whether it's, I'm going to take you out in 2 weeks to go get ice cream, or it's, hey, we're going to go for a walk in 20 minutes, they're not going to let you forget. They will not. And over time, kids really like structure and routine, even if it doesn't feel like it sometimes. They do thrive in structure and routine. And so they'll get used to your routine. And if part of your routine is physical activity at some point of day, and it's a consistent time of day, they're going to know what to expect and when to expect it. And if it doesn't happen, they're going to ask why. I mean, my almost 4-year-old Royce, all the time, especially when he was like 2.5, we would work out mid-morning. And if we weren't going out that garage about an hour after breakfast, if we weren't going out that garage door, he was like, Mommy, we going to go work out? So before you know it, if you can get that consistent time of day or routine down that is working for you and they know what to expect, or if you tell them, hey, we're going to go out to the garage and work out, or we're going to go on a walk and Mommy's going to run a little bit too. If you tell them that, they're going to expect that it happens, and they will help you follow through on that, follow through on your word. So it's an amazing place for accountability. Even let's take a step away from the physical activity. If you want accountability with cooking meals, for eating a certain thing, and you want them to help you cook, you want to bring them into the fold in the kitchen, that's another great way to get accountability on the nutrition front with your kids. So what I want you to do now that you've figured out these 3 places you might not have thought of before, I want you to pick one of these 3. And if you're struggling with consistency today, you're going to tell that person, whether it's your husband, your social media, or your kids. If you're struggling with consistency in any area, tap into one of those 3 simple, super accessible resources that you have for accountability and get going. If it's on social media, tag me so I can see it and share for more accountability for you. It's just Mrs. Liz Henderson on Instagram. And yes, I did say that it's amazing to have that, OG accountability from those resources we initially think of, like a workout buddy or a coach or a certain class that you go to at a certain time of day. And that's a huge reason that my clients tell me that they're seeing true change after our starting point session. So for me, as their consistency coach, I'm giving them accountability with one simple action, one simple habit that they're committed to being consistent with over the course of a few weeks. And I'm so ready to give you that accountability through our starting point sessions. So what we do on these sessions is pinpoint what you're struggling with. It is just for like 10, 15 minutes there. It is a straight up, tell me what your journey looks like right now. What is hard? What's your biggest roadblock? What is frustrating to you? What do you keep falling off with? And from there, we come up with a plan of attack. We come up with a plan to make sure that that frustration point is gone over the course of a couple weeks. And you'll finally stick to that plan because you're getting my accountability. Doesn't that sound amazing? It's so fun. It's so transformative. And it's your time. So head to thetoughlovemom.com/coaching, okay? Book your starting point session today and let's get you on the road to weight loss and also lasting change. No more falling off the wagon, okay? For good. Until next time, mama. Before you go, thank you for spending this time with me on the Tough Love Mom podcast. If this episode encouraged you in any way, the number one way you can thank me is to leave a review letting me know how this show has impacted you. Then send this episode to another mom friend or take a screenshot, post it on social media, and tag me so I can personally thank you for helping me on this journey to impact thousands of moms. I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you, sister. Until next time, get after it.